Welcome everyone to the Pi Data Sri Lanka YouTube channel. And through this video, we are going to explore a wonderful library called pandas-ta, which is a library that is dedicated for technical analysis in Python. So if you're wondering what technical analysis is, it's basically an analysis that is undertaken by an analyst who is kind of concentrating on financial markets to determine or to predict stock movements based on historical data. So what they do is they look at charts and they also look at trends, patterns, and indicators to determine where the stock is going to move in the future. So pandas-ta is a library that will help us to sort of create those indicators that will help us to do the analysis. So let's get into it. So as always, the first thing to do is to install the specific library. And for this purpose, you can use the command pip install pandas-ta. If you already have it, and if you want to see if you do have it, what you can do is you can do pip show pandas TA. So I already have it, so I should be able to see the version of it. And as you can see, since it is already installed, it will display what the version is and where exactly it is saved. So that's the first step. And now let's get into how to use it in your own projects. So the coolest thing about the pandas-ta library is how easy it is to use in the context of financial data analysis. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to import pandas as PD since you're going to do a little bit of manipulations using the pandas data frames. Then also you need to import the pandas-ta library. You can set a alias as you want. I usually set it as TA. And also you will have to import yfinance as ys simply because you might want to import certain data. So if you don't know how to use the yfinance module, there is a video that is part of this playlist which you can refer to, which explains all. No, it gives you an introduction about how to use the yfinance module to retrieve financial data. Right. So first, let's run this now. Let's say that I want to import Google data corresponding to a period of 2 years, and I want to import daily data. I use the yfinance module for this. And once you run it, it will retrieve the data, and the data will look something like this. So this basically has the open price, the highs, the lows, the close, the adjusted close, and the volume for a 2 year period, and it's going to be daily data. Okay. Now, how do we add technical indicators to this particular data frame? So there's actually two ways to do this, and I'm going to teach you both. The first way is to initially specify the data frame name. So in this case, it's going to be data. Then you're going to call the technical analysis library TA, which is the alias that we assign to pandas-ta. And then let's say that I want to get the simple moving average as the indicator. So for that, you can use the SMA, which is a function that is part of the pandas-ta library. And then and as the initial parameter, you need to specify the time period. So you see, the simple moving average is actually calculated for a specific lag period, and that is what is being passed as the first parameter. And then you can also you need to also pass in append equals true, which will append whatever that is being created to this particular data frame. Okay, so what is actually created is a series object, and it is going to be assigned to this particular data as a new column. Okay, so if you run this, then if you look at the data, you see that that particular indicator has been added. So let's say now, if you don't want, now this particular column name is assigned by the library itself. But if you want to have a different name, you can use the second technique. So how you do that is basically, let's say that I want to calculate the simple moving average for a lag period of 10. You say SMA underscore 10. That's the column name that I want to give. And then you equate it to the technical analysis dot SMA. And the first thing that you pass to that function is the closing price, the column name corresponding to the closing price. So the column in the entire column, the series. Okay, so here we're going to be passing data close, which is going to be the closing price, and then we're going to also specify the lag period. So if you run this, you will see that particular technical indicator was added as well. Okay, and it has also the cool thing is that it actually is named as the variable name or the column name that we gave it. So you can simply use different indicators. Pandas-ta has around 130 plus indicators. So let's look at two more examples. Let's say that I want to calculate an RSI indicator, or relative set index indicator, or an ADX indicator. You can do that as well. Simple, just run it, and then you will see that it has this data was appended to this particular data frame as well. Okay, so it's very simple like that. But one thing to note is that this is actually um, in syncing well with the yfinance library, simply because these column names are very important. So if you're going to be using your own data, make sure that the column names are in this particular format with this uppercasing and lowercasing, because that's what going to be used in these library in this library when you're directly using it like this. Okay, but if you're going to be using this, it's going to be much more easy because you can specify the series itself. But if you're going to be using this particular method, make sure that the column names are in this particular format. If not, it's going to raise an error. Okay, so that's about it when it comes to pandas-ta library. A very simple introduction to it. Explore it further and then do your own technical analysis. Once you get the technical indicators, you can also visualize it and then play around with it. Maybe use Plotly because it will give you a much more interactive plot. And so let's also meet in another video where we'll explore another library that is corresponding to finance that is associated with Python. Cheers, guys. Thank you.